That's correct. No parking goes to the one with a human and a dwarf.
Egan says, I was going to go with you now, Pakane, but I think I'm going to go check out the Dragonborn woman.
Okay.
And who is that seeing the Dragonborn woman?
Egan Rosk. Well, I tell you, there's a lot of languages I just keep seeing as unknown, and I know 4, so we've probably got languages covered in this group.
Okay, so who is going to the first 2 tables and the new one I typed up? Oh, 2 human women, Lopan.
The wild elf is Lady Anne and Glear.
She looks dangerous. I wouldn't go there.
Oh, Anne's going to speak with the wild elf. So, Chrisley, does that mean you're going to go talk with the half-elf? Oh, sorry, Chrisley, there is no map on this one. It's, like I mentioned, this is a module most people usually skip. It's a little bit different. It's more of an RP-type module, so unfortunately there is no map. Is Chrisley in the chat right now? I think that's Silver's character, right?
I'm not sure whose character that is.
I think Chrisley is Silver Eagle 82's character. I'm pretty sure that he mentioned.
Okay, well, I'll hold off on that one, and I'll assume that Chrisley is okay with that. Considering Chrisley's a half-elf, I'm pretty sure maybe that's the best choice anyway. Okay, so I'm just going to mix this up and go from table to table in different ways here, but so let's start with the first one. So the wild elf dines alone at the table, and the lady approaches. By the way, people asked earlier, is anyone detect magic in any of these cases or in the room or not?
Nope.
I don't think anyone here has it.
Nope. None of us have it.
Okay, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure before you guys start anything if anyone does that.
Yeah. We're doing it the hard and gritty way. Perception and insight.
So Anna and Glear will walk over to the wild elf and say, "Hey, you look like a story." Hello, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Anna and Glear from down in Cormier.
She looks up at you, smiles, nods, and then kind of just looks back down and says nothing.
Do you mind if I have a seat?
She seems to pause for a moment. After a while, she kind of gestures that it's all right.
So I'll sit down there and wave over for a glass of wine and say, "So, did you just come in off of the road out there, or in the forest or something?"
The Quivering Forest, yes.
Oh, I've heard of that, but I've not been there myself. How did you like it?
It's work.
Did you find anything interesting while you were working there?
Not anything of note. Just go to the area like I'm supposed to, and same old that you normally would expect, but just happy to be off of a 2-week stint and just trying to enjoy the feast.
It is quite a feast. I've never been to this before. Do you know what they usually do?
Most people tend to drink and eat and get a bit out of control. The rest of us enjoy a good meal and relax, take some time.
And enjoy watching the ones that get out of control.
Yeah, it's nothing compared to what you see out there. I mean, I deal with, malevolent fey creatures, so I mean, this is nothing.
Malevolent fey creatures. That sounds very magical.
It's what you'd expect to see in the Quivering Forest, I guess. I guess to those who don't venture it, it would be.
Do you ever bring any souvenirs back with you?
Not particularly, no. Not much of interest. I mean, if there ever is anything interesting, the government takes that.
Is that who you work for?
Well, I patrol. I work for the area, and yeah, like I'm in charge of assisting in the defense of the area.
That sounds very exciting. My father back in Cormier held a similar job. He was not in charge, but he participated in the defense of the area. He was in the army.
If you want to, you can make a an intelligence nature check.
Is there a tower? Or you want it in the open?
Just roll in the open. I'm not worried about it here so much. Okay, so basically the one thing you do notice is there's that purple-hued that fine-looking bow of strange purple-hued wood that you look at. What you can tell about that is it is a bow fashioned from what is called Morcant burl, a rare wood that grows only within the Quivering Forest. Other than that, you don't notice anything unusual, obvious on her.
Okay.
She asks you what brings you to the feast. Are you on vacation as well?
Well, of a sort. I'm kind of looking for a job now, but I guess I'll be taking in the feast while the feast is going on, and then my money will run out, and I'll be even more desperately looking for a job.
From the looks of you, you don't seem the type to want to just do regular patrol work.
Well, I've fallen on times a little bit harder than what I'm accustomed to, let's just say.
From the look of you, I don't think the wages I make would cover your expenses.
And Anne and Glare just kind of laughs and chuckles and toasts with their wine glass and nods.
Okay, so I'm going to kind of move around a bit here. I'm going to jump to the last one here now. So Milo and Kulg, you are going up to the 3 halflings dressed in bright motley colors. They are dining at the bar, so they're not really at the table. They're talking loudly, but the language is unrecognizable.
I know halfling. Are they talking in that language?
No, it's a different language. You do not know the language.
Okay, I'll get close to them, and in Halfling I will say hello and ask them if they mind if I join them.
Hello, hello.
To,
Yeah, no, no. Come up. Sit. Have fun.
okay, I'll sit down and introduce my friend, Colk,
Yeah, I'm his bodyguard.
and ask them if they will let me invite them a beer, and I'll.
So they invite you up. You sit down, and then you start talking to them. Um, and all of a sudden, uh, basically all three of them just oddly stare at you.
I look at them as, is anything? What's wrong with? What's wrong? Why are you staring at me?
One of them goes, then another one goes,
Hmm.
I think they're kobolds in disguise. Kill them.
We're at the stupid section of the bar.
Yeah.
Hmm. Weird. I asked them. I talked to them in Halfling. I asked, what color do you like? To see if they answer.
the one that hasn't said anything yet basically starts going, and then pulls out a pouch, and basically between them they start tossing it and kind of doing like a little kind of juggling thing with this pouch where they kind of like do tricks under their leg and pass it to each other, and it goes from one to the other to the other, and then one of them catches it, stops, and then they all just stare at the two of you again.
So they're like memes or performance artists or some crap.
It's halfling, halfy. What's that? What's that called? Halfy sack?
That's right. Halfling hacky sack.
Halfling hacky sack.
Okay, I tell them that I used to work on a place like that, a circus, or let's call it a fair or something like that, and try to deceive them.
Okay, so when you mention that you've worked in a fair and that you've done stuff like that, they seem to like almost actually both you can roll an insight. What's your bonus to insight, Kolk?
Nil.
Okay, so Milo, you're able to tell that that they seem to get excited and interested when you mention this. And then they really start to stare at you.
Do a trick for him or something.
Yeah, I was thinking that, but I'm not very good with that. Okay, I'll try to do a trick with a coin in my hands to move it around my fingers.
Okay, are you doing that with like a sleight of hand or like a what do you however you're kind of doing something, do a roll that's appropriate. If you're doing it like a trick with your hands, do sleight of hand. If you want to do some kind of like tumbling type thing to entertain them, do a tumble thing, like an acrobatics, like depending on the type of trick you're wanting to do, pick something appropriate and roll it.
Okay, I want to deceive them, like a magic trick. I want to use deception. Can I do that?
Sure. Yeah, I don't know what your bonus is if you don't roll it from the character sheet. What's your bonus to deception?
Yes, it's there.
He
8
does it.
plus
Plus
5.
mine.
Oh, never mind. Sorry about that. Oh, I guess my chat wasn't scrolling anymore. Okay, never mind. No, that's perfect. So basically, you do the trick. They all seem entertained. They all clap and they cheer and they raise their glasses to you. And they're like, very good, very good. They start talking again and not doing the grunting. And then they all just kind of stop and start staring at Kalg.
Okay, I look at Colk and say,